All right, welcome along. Nick Ritchie from Anytime Fitness Girrawheen. I'm just absolutely chilling out here in the club today. Just got a little bit of time to share with you guys this absolutely vital information. This is really the hidden secret to nutrition, to really using nutrition to get some very specific results. And although last time I actually shared with you in the previous webinar how to track calories, how to use calorie tracking to as a specific way, a specific formula for creating very specific results. Because if you want a specific result with a body, say lose specifically 5 or 10 kgs, then you need to be very specific with your nutrition. Sure, you can wing it, but if you want the fastest results in the least amount of time, then you're going to really want to focus on specific nutrition, which was, I believe, that webinar was called something along the lines of fat loss nutrition for beginners, or something along the lines of that. Fat loss formula for beginners, something along those lines. I hope you enjoyed that. Today, as you can see in front of you, you can actually see that we're starting off. I'm actually starting off with a PDF with a PowerPoint here, and I'm just going to scroll through this PDF. And what you're going to learn today is you're actually going to discover food groups. You're actually going to discover proteins, fats, and carbs. Although I did go over that in the first webinar, which is called Secrets to Fat Loss Using the Blueprint of Perfect Health. But what I want to do today is I want to get more specific with you. And the reason being is that I think health is so important today. I mean, let's face it, what can you not put a price on? Well, you really can't put a price on your health. When you lose it, no amount of money in the world can ever buy that back for you. And, you know, people who are very wealthy, they say a lot of people spend, there's a saying out there. I remember a good few years ago, I was at a seminar from a man called John DeMartini, and I was looking up, I saw this man on stage, and there's one thing that had stood out for me in that seminar, and he said, most people spend the majority of their life creating their wealth, and then they spend the last part of their life spending their wealth on their health. And I thought, wow, that's powerful stuff, right? So in other words, what is the use of, you know, spending year after year after year neglecting your health and focusing on other areas, whether it's not necessarily wealth financially, but, you know, let's say you're trying to reach the corporate ladder, or you're wanting to, you know, excel at watching television, or whatever it is. What's the point in doing all that if you lose your health later on and you have to spend all your money that you have left that you've worked for on your health? Yeah, I just wanted that to stew over there in your mind for a minute. As you listen to me now, listen to the sound of my voice, I'd like you to just consider what your true purpose is for really watching this video, for going through this information, for actually taking the time aside and get really clear on what is your reason for being here. What goals do you really have? What do you really want to achieve? Because the information I go over with you now, as I go over this information, I'm going to do my best to relate that to whatever your goals are. So keep those goals or what you want to achieve in mind as I go through this information, and ask yourself, how can this information help me to reach my goals? All right, so we're going to go through specific food groups. So we're going to go through different food groups that are considered problematic for people, different food groups that are leading to illness and disease, that tend to lead to illness and disease. Just don't mind the phone there, since we are currently inside of the gym. All right, perfect. So what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to just keep that in mind. Okay. So I know you can see my screen, so we're just going to scroll through here. Up on the top right, actually, are some people who have got results. It's actually me on the left in that picture, and then you've got another past client and another past client. Even though I don't do personal training anymore, this information is absolutely vital to you, like it has been with my clients in the past, with the phenomenal results they've been able to achieve just from following simple information. Whether you want to lose weight, drop body fat, and create the weight loss results that you're really wanting to, maybe you're wanting to build muscle, maybe just tone and firm, or maybe you just want to improve your energy levels. Maybe you want to feel more confident in that dress or that new outfit. Maybe you want to be able to meet that special someone. Whatever your reason is for wanting to transform your health or for wanting to spend time in the gym, I'd recommend that you keep that in mind. Okay, so gluten-free. Let's start with gluten. Let's start with gluten itself, okay? So when gluten really has to do with, wheat, grains, oats, flour, that sort of thing. So I'm going to partially read some of this, and then I'm going to give you some elaborations. Okay, so that really, when we talk about gluten, we're talking about wheat, grains, oats, flour, bread, pasta, couscous, that sort of thing, okay? Now, not everyone is allergic to gluten, but there are a lot of people that are. And the problem is that the gluten or the wheat, for example, that we're eating today, 99% of it in the supermarkets is genetically modified. Actually, I could say with almost complete confidence that all of it is genetically modified. If you've listened to any of our past webinars, you know that I recommend organic. Anyway, so genetically modified. So the problem is that the wheat today, gluten actually contains lectins. So inside of wheat, let's say you eat bread. Well, bread is made out of, let's say, wheat flour, and inside of that wheat flour there is gluten, and gluten is like a sticky glue, right, in your body. And inside of gluten is what's called lectins, and these lectins have been shown to create a lot of problems in the digestive system. And that's why celiacs have trouble eating gluten over time. Their intestines actually become inflamed and damaged, and this leads to a whole host of problems such as malnutrition from lack of absorption of the vitamins and minerals in foods, leaky gut syndrome, which is toxic matter such as feces passing direct into the bloodstream from the intestines, and much more. So if you've ever had or suffered from or tend to suffer from regularly, if you suffer from headaches, eczema, gas, bloating, weak belly, loss of energy, impaired sleeping patterns, and many of these can be contributed to an intolerance of gluten. So gluten may not be the only intolerance, but thanks to the USDA food pyramid, which is the US government has recommended that we all stuff ourselves full of these foods, then the population overconsumption of the cereals, breads, pastas, and other aforementioned foods, the majority of people now have an intolerance to gluten. So what that means is that your parents and your, etc., and throughout your life, chances are I've been told that gluten gluten-containing foods are really good for you and that you should stuff yourself full of cereals, breads, and pastas. And eat the majority of those, then fruits and vegetables, and then meats and dairy, and blah, blah, blah. Now, an intolerance can occur in the body when you've eaten too much of the same compound for too long. And this is why, with specific clients, I employ the use of a rotation diet. So this just means you're rotating around different foods throughout the week and throughout the month. So what I recommend for those of you who are having the problems that I mentioned about headaches, eczema, gas, bloating, weak belly, loss of energy, sleeping patterns, all that sort of stuff, I recommend that you pull out gluten, pull gluten out of your diet. And while you're at it, pull out soy, okay? Because soy tends to be a big problem, especially genetically engineered soy. Here's one thing is that soy, when insects eat soybeans that are grown on the farm, they end up with excessive rectal bleeding. The insects, I mean, not the people. This is excessive rectal bleeding, which is of the colon, which is your butt. Yeah. Now, there's a lot of people who have problems in that area, and there was one lady who a friend of mine was speaking with, and she said, "Oh, my friend is having these troubles, and the doctors have said she's got excessive bleeding in the colon, and they don't know how to fix it. They're giving her drugs, but nothing's happening." So my friend said, "Oh, why don't you have her cut out soy?" So she cut out soy, and 2 weeks later, her bleeding stopped. Now, typically, what I recommend is that someone goes without this type of food group for at least 90 days, and then just see how you feel afterwards. So if you cut gluten out of your diet and cut soy out of your diet, see how you feel after, say, 90 days. That's when you can get the most positive benefit. You may notice a benefit after a week or 2 weeks, or maybe not, but a lot of the time, a lot of your symptomology as far as food problems or the problems above, headache, eczema, gas, bloating, weak belly, loss of energy, impaired sleeping patterns, these things tend to just disappear. So it doesn't mean that you have celiac disease, it just means you're intolerant, which is basically the same thing. Only doctors will never be able to label it or as to prescribe a drug or a specific program for it. So really, you're your best guinea pig, you're your best student. So become a student of your body's own individual requirements. We're all the same in many ways, we're also all very different when it comes to how our bodies respond to what we put in it. Okay, so that's really the details on the gluten and on the soy. Anything that I may add there? I think that's it for now. I mean, that's a pretty good, gives you a bit of an idea. If you're going to ask a question about why government's recommending these foods to us and create so many problems for people, I can't really answer that. All I can really answer is that there's a whole host of other things that we've been recommended from different authorities that are supposed to be good for us that later on the authorities realize is not actually good for us, such as smoking, right? There was, I've got clip outs from adverts in the 1950s that say smoking is sexy and, you know, good for you, right? Well, later we found out that smoking is so mainstream, we know that smoking is not good. Like that's a tipping point. We all know that smoking is not good. But there's also certain foods that just aren't good. I mean, cocaine grows in Mother Nature, but you don't see us all, you know, licking that. So, so what I'm referring to here is that just because something, you know, is made in nature or Mother Nature creates it. Now, of course, genetically engineered Mother Nature. Well, Mother Nature did not create GMO foods like GMO wheat, GMO corn, and GMO soybeans. Oh yeah, the insects that have excessive rectal bleeding after eating the GMO soybeans, the GMO soybeans are actually genetically engineered to make sure that the insects have excessive rectal bleeding and blow out the other end. Basically, it kills them. It kills the insects. Yeah. So the soybean is genetically engineered to kill the insect when the insect eats it. That's the whole point of genetically engineering it. They also genetically engineer it so that they can, the company Monsanto that creates these genetically engineered foods, and this is important information for you learning. The company Monsanto, there's a really good DVD. The DVD name is The World According to Monsanto. And in that DVD, the investigators actually go through, it's a documentary. You can actually watch it on YouTube, The World According to Monsanto. That's the name of it. And they actually go into Monsanto and some of the other things that they're doing and creating. But what I really want to share with you is that if the insects are giving these problems, and they also genetically engineer the soybeans to actually be resistant to Roundup, which is a chemical fertilizer. No, not a fertilizer. It's a chemical, it's a pesticide. So it kills off, it's like a insecticide, pesticide. It kills off the weeds, basically. Okay. Yeah. So it kills off the weeds around the GM plants. You can spray as much of this dirty chemical onto your soybean plants. You can spray it and spray it and spray it and spray it and spray it, and the soybean survives. Whereas otherwise, if it wasn't genetically engineered, it wouldn't. Now, what people don't realize is that that chemical that is killing insects and killing weeds and killing everything pretty much actually soaks into the soybean, and then when you eat the soybean, you get all of that. Yeah. Okay. So let's go on to the next part. Let's go on to dairy. Now, dairy is really common. Some people are good with dairy, other people not so much. So I can say that I don't have wheat when I go grocery shopping. I don't buy this gluten, what we've just been through. And my wife actually recently discovered that when she was having organic soy milk, even she's allergic to the soy, which was creating eczema for her. Yes, eczema is it's not something you should shove a cream on. It's something that is resolved by changing the way you're eating, changing the food that you're eating. It's food allergies. Eczema is by far, it's a big problem in society today, and it's really brought on through nutrition. It's brought on through what you're eating. So if you want to get rid of it, change what you're eating. And these are the biggest culprits for eczema, which is wheat products like gluten products and dairy. Now, it's not necessarily all dairy. Now, you'll notice that I also recommend, for the most part, that people avoid traditional dairy products, which is cow's milk, cheese, yogurt, ice cream, milk solids, skim milk, butter, etc. Because inside of a cow's milk, there's a compound called casein, and this particular compound is unusually high in traditionally farmed cow's milk, because the farmers actually inject the cows with hormones that force the cow to produce not only more milk, but this also causes the milk to have an unusually high casein content. Casein is very much like glue in the body, and this is why many bodybuilders have the idea that consuming a casein-containing product prior to going to sleep is a good thing, because the casein drink turns into a ball of glue in your stomach and it takes 6 to 8 hours to break down all the amino acids. I remember waking up in the middle of the night or just before I went to bed, I would look around the kitchen, I would see my protein shaker, I'd fill it up with water, I'd feel the aircon behind me blowing on my back, and as I looked at the powder, I'd shake it up and it would dissipate, but it would kind of be a little bit gluggy in there, and a little bit gluey in the protein shaker, and then I'd swish it back and I'd head off to bed. And the thing is that the casein content actually takes 6 to 8 hours to break down in your stomach, so that's especially why bodybuilders have used it, because they think that they need to have the 6 to 8 hours of protein while they're sleeping, to make their muscles grow, which is, I won't go into whether that's good or bad. But the casein, the high casein content, and the amount of people that consume very high levels of dairy products in Australia is contributing, or a major aggravator or causation for a lot of people's stomach troubles. This is a lot like gluten. So this is problems with dairy, too much dairy. Actually, if you even have a minor issue with dairy, then you need to cut it out. Not just some of it out, not just, I have a little bit of coffee a little bit of my coffee in the morning. No, you got to cut it all out. In order to have the stomach heal itself correctly, fully, then you got to cut it all out. You got to cut it all out for at least 90 days. Allow your body to heal itself. So if you're getting eczema, dermatitis, stomach ulcers, bloating, gas, irritability, headaches, migraines, indigestion, constipation, and much more, then remove all traditional dairy and containing products from your diet for at least 90 days. After that time, if you're not vegan, which some people are, or vegetarian, of course, vegetarians are okay with eggs and milk. Vegans are not okay, they don't want to have any animal products. So after that time, if you're not vegan, you can introduce some cow's milk or goat's milk into your diet. There's a huge difference between traditional cow's milk that's been homogenized and pasteurized and organic raw milk. So if you want to consume dairy products after that 90-day mark, only consume organic raw milk, which means you get that from your organic health food store. That's actually, only I can say that because I'm giving you this information for educational purposes. I'm not a licensed medical professional, so anything I say is for informational purposes only, and should not be taken as medical advice. For all medical advice before starting any nutrition or exercise program, you should consult your healthcare professional. There's my disclaimer. So if you do want to consume dairy products, and slowly reintroduce raw milk back in, start with a little bit, and you can just increase it up over the course of a few weeks. It's actually sold as bath milk. It's sold as bath milk. Raw milk, actually, the thing is that when you squeeze the milk out of a cow, actually a really good study that was done not that long ago, a study that was done with newborn babies. They got newborn babies, they got 3 of them, not 3 of them, but 3 groups of newborn babies. So, 10 newborn babies on one side, 10 newborn babies on the other side, and then 10 newborn babies in the middle. And on the left-hand side, with 10 of the newborns, they gave them mother's milk, so human milk, breast milk. And on the far right-hand side, they gave the babies formula. which is, commercial baby formula, that stuff that you buy from your supermarket. And then they gave the babies in the middle, they gave them raw milk from, raw cow's milk. So for the people who think, oh, well, cow's milk is just for cows, calves, just for calves, and it's not for humans, well, here's what the study revealed. And this is from a microbiologist, actually, shared this on with me. And the study revealed that the babies who consume the breast milk, the mother's human breast milk, really thrive. Lo and behold, wow, who would have ever thought? The formula babies didn't do so well. They didn't develop quite as well. They didn't really do so well at all. But the babies who consume the raw milk from, cow's raw milk, actually thrived almost just as much as almost right at the same level as the human milk. Okay. So we know for a fact that raw milk is really good, but if you didn't know, which most people don't know, they just go, oh, the milk's been homogenized and pasteurized, and they just think that that's some special word that, means it's safe or something. But it's actually what it does. Because all it really means is that homogenized and pasteurized basically just means that they've burnt the milk, or they've heated it up to such a high degree, not a really high degree, but they've heated it up, they've killed off all the bacteria, including the good bacteria, and then they cooled it back down and shoved it in a bottle and said it's good for you. Of course, it's still got all the hormones pumped into it, all the antibiotics that are pumped into the cows during milking. When I was a young boy and when I dropped out of high school when I was a teenager, I actually went on to work on a dairy farm, and I remember milking the cows every morning and watching the injections get stabbed into their udders, and watching the ones that got mastitis, which is a bacterial infection, and they get lumpy milk, and then their teeth would clog up, and then their whole udder would get hard, and you'd actually have to give them antibiotics to kind of clear that up. But the problem is the antibiotics then back up. The antibiotics ends up in the milk, and then the milk ends up on your, in your glass at home. So you're not supposed to be getting antibiotics in your milk, but hey. Organic raw milk has all the good bacteria, which is probiotics. Probiotics help to strengthen the immune system, strengthen the gut health, strengthen the digestive system. So these probiotics are the opposite to antibiotics. So when you have a bacterial infection or anything like that, then doctors usually give you antibiotics, which anti means anti-life. Biotics means life, and anti means, well, kill. So antibiotics actually mean anti-life. So when you consume an antibiotic from the doctor, you're actually killing life. You're killing the life of the bacteria that lives in your stomach, and those bacteria are very important to your ability to absorb the nutrition from your food, which is the vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants. And it's also really important for your overall gut health, to remove bloating and that sort of thing, to keep your gut nice and flat and happy. So raw milk has all the good stuff, all the good bacteria in it. It's digested different by the body. It also contains lactase. Now, for those of you who are lactose intolerant, some of you can consume raw milk. Now, I'm not saying go ahead and do that, because that's not always a good idea. But raw milk actually contains the enzyme lactase, which is also destroyed during the homogenizing and pasteurizing process. So lactase is the enzyme that allows the human gut to digest the milk, to digest the lactose. So lactase comes along with lactose. They're combined together in raw milk when they come out of the cow. And that's why we can digest it safely. But if you homogenize and pasteurize, you kill the good bacteria, and you also kill the lactase. So you're actually doing a double whammy on yourself. So really what you're drinking when you're drinking commercial homogenized and pasteurized milk is sugar water, because there's no more nutrition left in it, and there's no good bacteria. There's no lactase in it, so your stomach has a damn hard time trying to digest that crap. There's heaps of casein in it, heaps of glue in it, and there's antibiotics and all sorts of junk. So yeah, that's your lowdown on milk. So pull it out of your diet, or if you think you're being good with it and you haven't and the above problems like, eczema and dermatitis and stomach ulcers, bloating, gas, irritability, headaches, migraines, indigestion, constipation, and all that. If you haven't hit any of those problems, then definitely make the switch to milk if you like having milk in your diet. It's called bar milk, usually available from any good market, farmers markets, or organic stores, organic markets or organic health food stores. Okay, we're scrolling down now. We're going to go over nuts. And yeah, for some of you who eat a lot of dairy and who eat a lot of bread and stuff like that, well, you might be thinking, oh no, what am I going to eat? What's left now? Well, hold your horses. I'm going to share with you alternatives. I'm going to share with you new foods that you can introduce. And yeah, jump into the spirit. Remember when you were a young kid and you're on the playground, or you went to a new playground, and it was like curiosity took over. This like exploring nature took over. You were like, what can I find? What can I explore? What can I discover? That's what I'd like you to get into the state of while we go through this additional information. Okay, so what about nuts? Well, nuts can be challenging to some and great for others. Peanut and soy allergies are two of the biggest and most common allergies worldwide, with some people having very serious reactions after consuming either. Nuts contain phytic acid, which coats the outside of the nut. Phytic acid can be difficult for your stomach, so where possible, soak your nuts overnight to reduce the phytic acid. It's actually really important to soak your nuts. So if you're going to eat nuts, even if they're organic, then definitely soak them overnight, because that phytic acid actually blocks your ability to absorb important vitamins and minerals in your food. So, which if you're not getting the vitamins and minerals in your food, then your energy levels are lower, and that can lead to illness, low immune system, colds and flus in winter, and even in summer, and then it can later on lead to serious diseases. So getting in your vitamins and minerals, getting in that important stuff, and there's antioxidants that help to fight aging and all those other problems. Aging is not necessarily a problem, but excessive premature aging can be a problem for a lot of people. So definitely soak your nuts to get rid of the phytic acids. You just soak them overnight, or soak them for 4 hours, 5 hours is good too. Once you soak them, just leave them out to dry if you want, or you can just do whatever you want to do after that. So never eat roasted or salted nuts. Roasted nuts are rancid, meaning upon roasting a nut, you literally rot all the good fats inside of the nut, which of course isn't good to eat. Salted nuts are something to avoid also, because companies use the cheap table salt that contains glass. Yes, it contains glass, anti-caking agents, and other nasty substances. What they discovered in arterial bleeding, which is the pipes that lead to your heart, that allow your blood to flow through these pipes called arteries. Now, what they found was that people were bleeding from the inside out at a microscopic level. So the problem is you can't see the bleeding. You can't see the bleeding, but the bleeding is happening, and it's happening because people were consuming this cheap table salt. Cheap table salt that actually contains, anti-caking agents and compounds that are a lot like glass, and they just go in, and as the salt kind of sweeps through your system, it cuts your arteries. It creates little tears. It's like running a razor blade on the wrong side, over your skin really lightly, and it won't do much, but it's a microscopic cut. And if you keep running it over your skin, eventually you bleed. Eventually, you get through all the layers of your skin. So you may not see kind of that cutting and those problems that are happening with your arteries now, but you'll certainly see them and feel them later on in the form of illness. So you want to really avoid that. Focus on health, focus on abundance, focus on that your health can become abundant. So when eating nuts, eat organic, raw, unsalted, so soak them, unroasted varieties, and don't eat the same nuts every day for weeks on end. So try to have maybe some almonds that week, and then you pull the almonds out, have some cashews the next week, and next week you have some walnuts or something like that. So that's really the main deal about nuts. They contain really good healthy fats, which we've been over in previous episodes. Healthy fats that then, of course, convert into cholesterol in the body. Yes, good cholesterol. and then that good cholesterol converts into sex hormones, which is the hormones testosterone and estrogen, and some of the other really good ones that help to keep you balanced during that time of the month, or during any time of the month. They help to keep your sex drive up, they help to keep your energy levels up, all that sort of thing as well. So really important. Raw foods. Okay, so for me personally, I don't eat raw food all the time. In winter, I eat a lot more cooked food, cooked organic food. I do eat organic. I eat 95% organic. When I say 95% is because, you know, every now and then I can't find something in organic, so I'll just, you know, say barbecue sauce. If I haven't found that at my organic store, I'll just, you know, grab some from the supermarket and whatever. And or say I'm out with dinner with my wife and, you know, we want to get burgers or something. We're not going to go try to find an organic restaurant, so we just, you know, we eat out. It doesn't mind us at all, and we work on sort of like the 80-20 rule, right? So, you know, during the weekends, we still eat all our healthy food, but if we want to go out, you know, to a fast food, not a fast food, but say if we want to go out to grill, and like for us, we get a vegetarian burger or something like that, or if we want to get a piece of cake or something like that, no big deal. So just go through that. That way you've got plenty of behavioral flexibility, and if you want to get something, you can get something. You don't just, you know, you don't have to worry about your mindset getting all messed up. Some people get a bit funny and they get a bit, you know, anal about their food choices and that sort of thing. Keep it really flexible. That way there's no stress relating to food. You can just be relaxed about it and do your best. Raw food simply means whatever you mean. Okay. So definitely recommend like a certain amount of your food can be raw. Maybe in winter I don't eat quite as much raw food as I would, but the cool thing is about raw food is that there's lots of digestive enzymes inside of raw food. So when you cook a food above 36 degrees Celsius, you actually end up destroying a lot of the digestive enzymes. And these are like little keys that help to unlock the nutrients in the food and help the food to break down that you've just eaten. Sometimes when you cook the foods above 36 degrees, sometimes you actually destroy some of the vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants. But I don't think that's so much of a big deal if you're eating organic anyway. So definitely some raw food. Like for example, if you have some fruit in the morning, well, there's your raw food. You know, you've had some raw fruits in the morning, and then I might just have some rice or some mixed vegetables, some stir fry for lunch, and then I might have something similar for dinner. Or some, you know, sweet potato baked in the oven with some coconut oil and some salt. That's my favorite. Now, when it comes to salt, I didn't mention earlier, but when it comes to salt, I recommend Himalayan. I think I go a lot later on, but I recommend Himalayan salt or Celtic sea salt. So my Himalayan salt or Celtic sea salt, you can get those from your health food stores or your organic stores. So why juicing? Okay. So juicing is really useful. You don't have to do it. It's something that can be really cool. If you're eating organic, you're already getting, you know, food that's loaded full of nutrition, full of vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, the good stuff. So you don't necessarily have to juice. People who juice a lot are those who usually don't eat organic. They might be vegan, they might, you know, eat heaps of vegetables and all that, but they don't eat organic for whatever reason. I think it's silly if people are, you know, plant-based and they don't eat organic because they're still eating lots of GMOs and that sort of thing. So definitely, I'm a big proponent of organic because for one reason, organic is that they actually turn over the soil. And if all your vitamins and minerals really just get created from the quality of the soil that you're laying your seeds in, then let's say you have soil that has no minerals in it, it's just depleted. Say it's basically like sand, it doesn't really have anything in it at all. Then you can pretty much guess that the plants that grow out of that soil, the seeds that grow into plants, what they're doing is they're actually absorbing everything around them in order to grow. Now, what farmers cottoned on to years ago is that they only need 3 ingredients in order to make plants grow up to the sun. So you can actually grow a plant you can actually grow, like, say, a full potato out of the soil, or a full lettuce head. You can grow it out of the soil with 3 ingredients, when really there's more like 50 to 100 ingredients or nutrients that need to be in the soil to have like a really full, flush, vibrant, juicy plant that has all the vitamins and minerals and all the good stuff in it. So what that really means is if you're going to plant a seed in the soil and the soil is deficient in minerals, then the plant will be deficient. So the quality of your soil will dictate the quality of your food, the quality of your plants that you're growing in that soil. So if you have low quality soil, you have low quality food. If you have high quality soil, you have high quality food. Well, how do you have high quality soil? You have high quality soil. You have high quality soil by mulching and manuring. So this is getting, animal manure and mulching that through the soil. Turning over the soil means that you're actually plowing the soil, picking it up, digging it deep, and then flipping it so that all the nutrients that may have soaked down actually get flipped up to the top. That sort of thing. So you're turning over the soil, manuring it, and making it fresh and really good. So when you plant new seeds into that soil, the plants soak up all that goodness out of the soil, and then they become really fresh and abundant and are full of vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants. I hope that makes sense. The vitamins and minerals and antioxidants are really important for your long-term health because research shows time and time again that the reason that 90% of people today in the developed nations, the Western world, which is here, Australia, USA, New Zealand, etc., 95% of us are dying from a premature disease such as cancer, stroke, heart attack, Alzheimer's, these things. Now, everyone knows someone who's passed away from cancer, but no one really asks the question, what causes cancer? And we know the research proves that these diseases are linked to having a deficiency in vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants. But if your food doesn't have the antioxidants, vitamins, and minerals in it, then you can guarantee that over the course of a 30, 40, 50-year period, that your body will just become depleted and depleted and depleted, and lead to these problems. So organic is like your health insurance in a way. It's almost the way I consider it, is that you're eating organic, you're getting lots of vitamins, minerals, antioxidants. I don't get sick in winter. I stay healthy in winter. When everyone asks me got cold and flu and they're laying off work and gym, I'm bouncing off the walls. I'm good as gold. And I believe it comes down to because I eat organic food. Eat organic food is really what I do. And that's what I recommend that everybody do. Really just stretch, even if it's out of your comfort zone, even if it takes a little bit longer for you to, drive to the organic store. And there's not that many of them in Perth. But I highly recommend, instead of shopping at your old big supermarket that's just full of food that has no nutrition in it, it's just junk. Go to your organic store, load up on these lovely fruits and vegetables and these great foods, and your body will thank you for it. Okay, do fats make me fat? Ooh, there's a lot of misconception about fat. So I want to share with you that most of it isn't quite on the right track. So that makes you fat. First of all, originally they told everyone to eat a low-fat diet. They, as the USDA food pyramid, told everyone to eat a low-fat diet to avoid heart attacks. This is now being proven to increase your chances of having a heart attack. So low-fat has not only been shown to increase your chances of having a heart attack, it's also been linked to Alzheimer's. If you want to lose your mind and have a heart attack at the same time, then avoid eating healthy fats. But if you want to have a great mind, focused and clear, and remember your whole life, and have a strong heart as you go about your life, definitely eat these healthy fats, which we've been over earlier: nuts, seeds, oils, avocado, almonds, cashews, peanuts, olive oil and coconut oil and all these special ones. Your brain is 90% fat. Your brain is 90% fat. If your brain is 90% fat, you don't eat enough fat. Well, you can put 2 and 2 together. Alzheimer's, okay, brain disease. Not eating enough fat, okay, well, if if you don't eat enough fats, where does the brain get its fats from? Well, it doesn't. All right. Before you reach into the cupboard for a fatty snack, let's clarify which fats are useful for your body and which ones are harmful. So margarine is basically plastic, so avoid that at all costs. All fast food chains contain plastic fats. Plastic fat is called a TFA, trans fatty acids, and trans fats have already been linked to a number of health concerns and diseases, and they are very quickly stored in your body as fat. In an 8-year Harvard study of 85,000 women, margarine was linked to heart disease. Yes, that means it caused heart disease in these women. So that's a pretty big study. That's a pretty big study. Out of a study in an 8-year Harvard University, that's one of the top universities, 85,000 women, margarine was linked to heart disease. Yes, that means it caused heart disease in these women. Struggling to remove saggy fat from your arms, waist, or buttocks? Avoid these trans fats at all costs. Avoid margarine, fast foods, fried foods, high temperature cooking with vegetable oils such as olive oil, soybean oil, mixed vegetable oil, canola oil, etc. When you cook with olive oil, it turns into a trans fat because it's not a high temperature cooking oil. If you want to cook with an oil, use coconut oil, macadamia nut oil, or palm oil. Also, avoid burning oils as the burnt part of foods is carcinogenic. Carcinogenic means deadly. It means it's a carcinogen, which means it's nasty. So saturated fat, this is a myth. There's no problem with saturated fats at all. Coconut oil is a saturated fat. It's all saturated fat. And coconut oil has been shown to dramatically improve health and brain health. So you want to get your brain health up, protect your brain health. Heard of anybody with Alzheimer's? Get them into some coconut oil. Coconut oil. So what about sugar or sweeteners? Since sugar was introduced, the population has become more toxic, disease-ridden, overweight, and obese. The reality is that sugar is a lot like cocaine. Sure, it's natural and from the ground, even the organic stuff, but it doesn't mean it's good for you. Yes, that's right. It means I don't go and buy stacks of organic cane sugar. Why? Because just even though it's from the ground, it's organic, doesn't mean it's good for you. So don't use the artificial sweeteners like aspartame, sucralose, as they're all highly toxic to the body. Yes, that means your sugar-free drinks as well. If you want to use a sweetener, use stevia. Stevia is the only natural sweetener, and I don't even recommend using stevia too much because that's had a little bit of complications. But if you are going to use a sweetener, then use stevia. I don't think it's, it's a natural plant extract taken from the stevia plant, but it's been refined so many times that it's it does have some. It's a little bit kind of off the grid. Like there's been some studies that have been not so good with it, and some studies that say it's okay. So yeah, if you use a sweetener, use stevia. If you can get away or wean yourself off sweeteners, then I recommend you do that too. Get used to eating a lot less sweet foods and get used to eating more savory foods, which is what you get into if you're eating more real food, fruits, vegetables, nuts, seeds, oils, legumes, beans, etc. What about dried fruits? This will scare you. Dried fruits often have insect eggs and unfriendly bacteria buried inside, which can make their way into your body and wreak havoc. So when possible, flash boil them to kill off any nasties. So only use unsulfured dried fruits and vegetables and berries, and of course go organic wherever and whenever you can. So if you do go organic with your dried fruit, then flash boil just means that you put them in a pot of water, boil them up for a minute, boil, and then like I said, what is flash boiling? Simply bring a saucepan, use preferably stainless steel, cast iron, or glass for cooking, to a high temperature, splash some water on it, then throw the dried fruit in it, and then quickly place a lid on top to seal the resulting steam inside. Allow it to steam for 1 minute or so, then remove the dried fruit from the pan into a bowl of cold water. Perfect. What vegetables can you eat? Well, what I'd like to say is I'd just like to say that you should really be eating any fruits and vegetables that you can. What about salt? You should be eating as much fruits and vegetables as you can. More vegetables than fruits. All right. What about salt? Well, we already kind of went into that. So let's just recap salt. Despite concerns of salt consumption being linked to heart attacks, this is in fact a half truth. The concern comes from table salt. Table salt is one of the most damaging condiments. People use statements as well contains anti-caking agents and other harmful chemicals. No wonder people who eat a lot of it have an increased chance of heart attack. Instead, use Celtic sea salt, pure sea salt, Himalayan salt as your means of adding salt to your meals and water. These are natural salts and are in fact good for you. Use them as you wish. Some people will find adding salt to meals will improve digestion and regularity, and others will find adding salt to their water useful. Do what feels good for you. I used to actually add 1 teaspoon of Himalayan salt to my water daily, which helps with digestion and hydration. I thought it was pretty good. I don't do as much of it now because I actually use the salt grinder, Himalayan salt grinder. I have to grind salt on pretty much everything I eat. So I think I get plenty of water in it, and I drink plenty of water each day. So. Speaking of water, salt aids digestion and hydration. So have an adequate salt. You won't go to the bathroom as often as you should. Ideally, you should have 1 to 3 easy eliminations daily. Yeah, that's number 2. If you're not eliminating at least once daily, you got some problems. So, and if you're somebody who thinks that it's awesome that you're only eliminating, say, a few times a week, then you'd probably like to know that that irregularity, which is what you're describing, has actually been linked to bowel cancer. And that's actually really common in women, especially common in women who drink alcohol. Because it just messes up your bowels. Women tend to be more sensitive to eliminations and alcohol and these things. So you need to be eliminating 1 to 3 times per day. It's really important. It is really, really important. I've had a lot of personal experiences with friends that had some real problems. One of them went to hospital because they've just been eating so much junk and ended up in hospital with serious problems. And it took them about 3 years to actually get their regularity normal. Normal meaning 1 to 3 easy eliminations per day. So you shouldn't be squeezing real hard. You shouldn't find it real difficult. It should just be like, boom, it's done, easy. That's it. Okay. Next, Jack. What about seasonings? So when it comes to seasonings and condiments, you want to stick with organic. Almost everything today, almost 95% of what's in your supermarket shelves is GMO, genetically modified organism. What a lot of you guys don't realize is that the same company that provides with all your fruits and vegetables that are on your supermarket shelves, the genetically engineered ones, GMOs, they're all GMO. Everything that's on your supermarket shelf is GMO. I asked a few supermarkets, I just went around for a bit of research. I said, well, what fruits and vegetables here are actually not genetically modified? And they said none of them. And I was like, so you mean to say that all the apples, all the berries, all the potatoes, all that, they're all GMO? And I was like, yep. I was like, damn, that's crazy. It's like the consumer doesn't even have a choice. You got to go to a new supermarket, an organic supermarket. I like Organic on Charles. Organic on Charles is really cool. That's in Perth, Australia. Organic on Charles. I also like Absolutely Organic. Absolutely Organic is another good one that I've been to. Those are a couple of really cool ones. And then also your markets. Some of your farmers markets also have a couple of organic stalls as well, where you can buy direct from the farmer, which is also really cool. So if all these organisms are all genetically modified, all of these plants that are in your supermarket, well, what are they even genetically modifying them with? Well, what you'd probably not like to know, or like to know, is that, for example, potatoes, white potatoes are crossed with a frog gene. Why would you stick a frog in a potato? I mean, for one, like a frog wouldn't even be able to mate with a potato. A potato couldn't mate with a frog. They're completely different, entities, right? So you're never going to get a frog having sex with a potato. And the reason I'm throwing that out there is because what the hell is a frog gene? yeah, it's like a gene code, which is like part of the frog, makes the frog. What the hell's a frog gene doing in your potato? Yeah. And then, then we ask ourselves the question, well, why are the disease rates so high in the world? And there's a lot more problems with GMOs that I won't go into because it's real toxic. But if you want to learn more about genetically engineered foods and why they're nasty and how they came about, watch the DVD, The World According to Monsanto. The World According to Monsanto. Really important. Monsanto is the multinational corporation that actually owns your food. Yeah, they own all the genetically modified foods. So basically they own your food. They own the food. They have patents to the food, copyright basically, copyright of the food. They own the apple. Yeah. Okay. So where are we? Add organic spices to your meals, boost your spices have lots of really cool antioxidants, and that the antioxidants actually help keep you younger and healthier. Pepper, chili, garlic, onion, turmeric, etc. Let's have a look at the food list now. Okay, food list. We're not going to take too much time. If you want a copy of this, let us know. Send us an email, girrawheen@anytimefitness.com.au, and we'll actually send you a copy of this food list, a copy of this PDF actually. So you got your own copy. That'd be pretty cool, wouldn't it? Yeah. So we'll actually give you a copy of this if you send us an email. Or you can go to our website. Just Google Anytime Fitness Girrawheen. Just Google Anytime Fitness Girrawheen. You can get our contact details from there. Or you can also grab a 7-day pass. If you live in Perth, you can get a 7-day pass and a free personal training session with us, where we'll actually take you through the steps of transforming your health. All right, we're coming up an hour or so, which we've been doing really well. So we're going to wrap up. We're going to wrap up with the food list. All right, so these are above ground vegetables. This list is actually here as an example of foods that we encourage you to eat. Above ground vegetables are vegetables that are actually above ground. Yeah, they grow above ground. Okay. There's a lot here. Silver beet, tomato, cabbage, parsley. Below ground, these are the ones that have a higher carb content. I don't have a problem with carbs at all. I eat lots of carbs personally, but I also don't eat animals. So I don't eat animals. I eat some animal-based product. Like every now and then I'll have some dairy, or if I have a piece of cake, well, that's probably got egg in it. So below ground vegetables: potatoes, yams, sweet potato, pumpkin, eggplant, squash, zucchini. These ones. Zucchini, I particularly like fried zucchini in the pan because it's got that kind of fleshy kind of texture to it, and you can spice it up. It can taste really nice. I digress. So fruit. So these are typically high to moderate carbohydrate. You've got apples, avocados, olives are actually fruit. Feijoa, you can look at a list here of fruits. They're great. Fruits are awesome. Fats, nuts, seeds, and oils. So you've got a whole list of oils there, healthy oils, and a whole list of healthy seeds. Some of the seeds, there's lots more seeds than just that. And especially like Nigella sativa, which is black seed. Black seed's really cool. If you look up Nigella sativa or look up black seed, it's got some really awesome properties to it as far as healing illness. I won't go into any more than that. So fats, nuts, seeds, and oils, all that list there. All right, protein. So this is vegan protein sources. So people can use protein powders like pea protein, hemp protein, brown rice protein, that sort of thing. They can get a lot of protein from beans. I personally don't really bother with the whole protein idea because I realized quite some time ago that even your quote low protein foods actually have quite a bit of protein in them. And when you eat a decent amount of food each day, you can easily hit your protein numbers without actually having to eat specific protein foods. Even if you want to drop body fat, etc. It comes down to eating real food. It comes down to eating real food. So if you're really wanting to strip body fat and all that, all this information applies to you. If you're wanting to stay your weight, if you're wanting to strip body fat, lose weight, weight loss, or build some muscle, all of this that I've been sharing with you today applies. All of it applies. If you apply it, you'll get the results. protein. This is traditional protein sources. So this is if you do eat animals, and it's chicken breast, turkey breast, fresh fish, white eggs, cheese. Oh look, okay. Healthy recipes. There's a cool recipe site, rawlifestylecode.blogspot.com. That's a really good one. Actually, my wife actually created that one. There's lots of healthy recipes on it. Tracking calories, we went into that on the last episode. This is just a quick kind of multiplication, quick ideas on how to do that. We actually went into MyFitnessPal, which is the app that we use, and also into macronutrient ratios. Now, I don't really get all that much. Don't really go into too many details with that. So that's pretty much us. That wraps us up for today. I hope you found it really useful. If you did, I'd love for you to share this video. So click the share button and share it out to your friends, your family, your workmates, and say, hey, check this information out. Absolutely excellent. And of course, we encourage you to get in touch with us if you need to Google Anytime Fitness Girrawheen. We can help you get the results you're looking for. We can help you to lose body fat, build muscle, build toning, and shape your body the way you've always wanted it, and to become really happy and healthy and have the energy you've always wanted. We'd also love to offer you a free 7-day pass to the club, to our gym, and a free personal training session. Just simply click the link below wherever this video is posted. You can also email us Girrawheen, GIRRAWHEEN @anytimefitness.com.au for a copy of this PDF, or to catch up and chat with us about how we can help you reach your goals. I look forward to catching up with you soon. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the club hopefully.